Hey everyone, welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B. I am Bear.
And I am Brian. How are you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing good. Not that you're asking me.
I
So
am asking you. I am asking you, Bear.
I'm doing great. I'm
That's
doing
great.
great.
That's
Lots of
great.
things going on in the past week,
What?
especially for the both of us.
Really?
We traveled.
Yeah. Yeah, we packed on a couple miles, didn't we? That was
We
interesting.
sure did. You packed on more, and I
I
don't mean that in a
did.
negative way, but you went further than I did.
I did. I did. And yes,
I,
apologies for the 2-minute late start. That was a technical difficulty on my point. I had changed all my settings to try and get the live stream working from TeslaCon, and I had to change some of them back at the last second. Did not realize that was a thing I had done. Yeah.
well, things happen, but it's fixed, and we're here.
And we are
And
here. So good
And
to see
so
you
are
guys.
all the viewers. Like most of the internet is on right now.
So I am on my main channel this week because there is a global problem right now where you cannot switch YouTube accounts. So I'm just glad that that I wasn't logged into my kids' account, which has the premium on it, so there's no ads on the TV. Because that would have been, well, I wouldn't have been streaming this week on my channel.
But I would have because I'm more prepared and I don't log into kids' channels.
I obviously don't either. Were you not paying attention just now?
Okay, that's true. That is true. All right. So what do we got going on this week? We got a lot of topics, don't we?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
There's just one, just the Tesla thing, right?
Well, no,
That
I
little
thought
shindig?
I thought Toyota was the only story.
Oh, you want
Good
to go to that?
news.
You want to go with that one?
Good news, kind of.
Yeah.
Federal tax
Yeah.
credits will soon start phasing out for Toyota EV customers. And that is good news because they're still going to sell just as many as before. And that means they've sold a ton of EVs.
You know what's funny about that?
No.
They really haven't, because that includes plug-in
Oh.
hybrid.
The Priuses are included?
Yeah, it says plug-in hybrids were
Oh,
included in that.
plug-in
'Cause
hybrids.
Plug-in hybrids, they will get a partial credit, so they're not getting the full 7,500.
That's
still
unfortunate
counts
for
it.
buyers.
Yeah, it still counts as a unit sold. So I think that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does.
It sucks that it all got wasted on plug-in hybrids, because plug-in hybrids are a waste, in my opinion, waste of engineering time and resources when they should just be going full EV.
They should. And the thing with the hybrids at all, with the Prius really, is it shows that Toyota does not have a lack of engineering talent. What they have is a lack of philosophical commitment.
Well, that's true, since the CEO, up until very recently, thought EVs sucked. To put it very blatantly.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, Ford will probably hit their cutoff in the next year or so.
Yes, they will, probably before I could get a Lightning, though I don't even have one on order. But from my understanding, you can't even order them right now.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
when Ford doesn't have capability to produce, they actually discontinue the ordering. With the Mach-E, you cannot order a premium, or the California Route 1.
Right.
But for some reason, you can order the Select or the GT, but you can't order those other two. You
Wow.
cannot order a Bronco because they're not available for this model year. So
Wow.
if you want one, you got to find one on the lot, which is very rare. And then
Yeah.
it has a dealer adjustment. And then the Lightning is the same thing. You can't order them right now because this is
Because
what I
they
was
know they
told
can't
about the
fill the
Lightning.
order. Yeah.
Right, right. So unlike Tesla's, we'll take your order. It's going to be a year and a half, but
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Toyota will use every excuse possible to make as few EVs as possible, says John. So also, by the way, I wanted to extend a gracious thank you to Bear, who pulled all the topics for us today, since I was in transit since early this morning. I flew out of Austin early this morning, and I've been in transit all day.
Glad you made it. And picking the topics gives me the ability to not talk about things that Brian likes to talk about. So I am really sorry, JJ. I did not find any Nikola news in the last week, so
I
really,
I also looked and did not find anything, but that's not bad news. No news is not bad news. You know, slow and steady wins the race in many cases. So
yes.
yeah,
But you
that'll
know what
be
always loses the race?
not racing.
All caps. JJ is getting picked on for typing in all caps, and he thinks that today is all caps comment day, which was actually yesterday, and you missed it.
Anybody else
J-
working on EVs?
yeah, yeah. Supposedly, that other company that hasn't really was one of the leaders, and then was not. Honda to launch 30 EV models by 2030.
So the good news is 30. Surely that means they'll be leading, right?
No,
Really?
not with their plans. They still only are expecting to make 2 million a year by 2030. Who's going to hit 2 million a year next year?
Whoa. Wuling Huangguang Mini,
Right? And number
but
two?
Tesla. No, and actually the Wuling
Yeah.
probably won't sell 2 million. Tesla will probably, hit in excess of 1.5 this year, probably 1.7 or 8. Yeah, they will absolutely
Yeah.
hit 2 million next year. And Honda, another similar to Toyota. What happened, guys?
Yeah.
Where'd you lose your way?
I don't know, but they lost their way. And when I bring up Tesla being able to do 2 million next year, it's not that I'm bragging on Tesla. It's me saying, why is a company that did not exist 15 years ago is able to kick the asses of these other car companies that have been around for over 100 years? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Well, actually, it does, because you know what it is. It's just poor management, not forward thinking, and so
Right.
forth. But it's just embarrassing that they're all trailing so far behind. And it
And
actually just proves the point that they were just happier to beat the competition but not make something better,
well, and JJ
and,
asked
and not innovate.
JJ asked the right question. Why did the old guard make 30 bad EVs instead of one good one? And all I can think is that's how they've done it for forever. I remember a commercial in the 90s where GM was saying, we have 100 models available. And really you didn't. They had like 35 that they would rebrand a dozen times. But we
Regal, Cutlass,
right. You
Monte
don't need,
Carlo.
yeah, well, the Chevy Venture, Pontiac Montana, and Oldsmobile Silhouette were all the same van with different trim. And those are three separate models. We don't, I don't need a car to be perfect for my exact use case to find something that works, which is why, focusing on, like Lucid has from the outside one car, but you can make it in 4 different trims, and it simplifies production, it simplifies supply chain, it simplifies everything. And that's, what needs to be done. And an
Yeah.
article we didn't pull up, we could have, is Volkswagen is getting rid of their cheapest models. They're we're not making money. Right?
Ford did that. Yeah, Ford
Yeah,
did
Ford
that.
did that. Well, yes, but you still have to fill that market. And guess what? In like a year or two, somebody else is going to be filling it and eating your lunch. It's not even eating your lunch. You just handed it to them.
Yeah, and they're going to find a way to make it profitable.
Yeah. 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 And also, by 2030, that's not serious. That's a joke. 2030. You're going to have 2 million by 2030. You might not be around in 2030.
I might not be. I thought there was one car on here that was ridiculously inexpensive also.
On the Honda one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honda's planning to introduce an insanely cheap mini EV model for commercial use at $8,000
No, they're not. No, they're
in
not.
Japan by 2024.
No, they're
This
not.
is not going to be a car that could be sold in the U.S. because it won't meet the safety restrictions for sure. It will probably have a range of 20 miles.
From your article, just last week, Honda announced a partnership with GM to co-develop electric vehicles by 2027 in North America using the Ultium platform. for that will go for under 30,000. You're throwing all your eggs in that basket, are you? I know Mary's
Yeah.
a leader and all, but have you looked at some of the partnerships GM has done to try and get into
Nicola?
EVs? It's not been
Nicola?
effective.
Sorry, I had to throw out Nicola.
John Yent wanted to know, will Polestar get the incentives on their sale to Hertz? So will Hertz be able to get this? Does the $7,500 credit go to businesses too, or just individuals?
I've heard that they do go to businesses, but I'm not sure if they go to corporations.
Oh, you mean like
So
it would go to a sole proprietorship or LLP or something? If anyone
I'm not
in the
saying
comments
that.
knows,
I'm not saying that because I don't know. I know that when you submit it on like personal taxes, it goes under personal deductions.
right?
Now, whether or not that can be taken on a business account, I was told actually just the other day by someone who was running a business and he's buying EVs on Toro. He told me that he was able to take those that $7,500 deduction, and he can do it as many times as he bought cars for.
But he's
But
also not a. He's probably not a corporation, so that's
he
still
was
a
in,
good question.
he was in LLC, so
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
not
know.
su-
Maybe
I'm
then.
not sure.
Maybe. I did see a good comment here. Somebody said that they can't even make the battery for 8,000.
No, they can't. Or a non-exploding one, as JJ would say, stop the bolt from exploding every time you charge it, and we'd be good. LOL. Yeah. So they got to make. Well, this is Honda, so maybe Honda can make a non-exploding battery
Yeah, maybe.
as long as they don't use LG batteries.
Well, they're not going to be making. They're going to be using Ultium, so it's whoever makes those, which is probably LG. But I assume they've got it figured out.
Maybe they'll be made down the street for me.
Very possible. Very possible. Who should we talk about next?
Well, let's talk about Lucid.
Yeah.
Because someone had already mentioned in my comments, what about Lucid, the new Lucid GT? Now, I'm just a little lost on this new model. I know it's supposed to be a high performance version of the GT, but I still seem to be a little lost on why it costs $10,000 more than the Dream Edition. Has pretty much the same features, but less range. So I am kind of scratching my head a little bit on that. So if any one of my Lucid fans in the comments could tell me, what did I miss, or as Brian would say, misunderstand?
I have a theory.
Yeah, what's the theory?
My theory is the Lucid is an excellent car, and they realize that the pricing doesn't work. So since they've sold out of the Dream Edition, they can create a new edition, the GT, or and price it at whatever. And if they keep the numbers limited enough, they can sell them all, and bleed less excessively from the eyeballs in that loss.
I suppose that could be possible, but here's the thing: the acceleration goes down a tenth of a second. By the way, this is not a new GT. This is a GT Performance. So they've had the GT. This is a GT Performance. So this is supposed to be better than their GT, which sells, I think, at 139,000.
This says
So
179,000. Oh,
yeah,
that's the thing is, if you don't compromise on luxury or performance or range, you also don't get to compromise on price.
yeah. But I still don't understand why the car is $10,000 more. They are not putting a limit on this, though. There was no number saying we're only going to do a 500 or 1,000. I think if a million people ordered them, then they'll put them in the order books.
And I think that's smart because I don't think there's, like it's not like the Ferraris where if they only make 500 of something, it's worth more.
Yeah.
On the collector market, I don't think you're going to see model specific premiums like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it will still be a nice car. I'm just a little confused on why it's costing more. What's the value in the extra $10,000? The value that's more than the Dream Edition, except for the fact that you can't get the Dream Edition.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hence maybe the price raise.
Yeah. And so what was the big thing this week we were talking about? I don't remember.
We did, what was it, a greet and meet or meet and greet? What
Well,
is
we were
that?
debating between meet and greet and beef and tweet, but yeah, it was great. Dr. Know It All was there. Every last one of the Texas drone pilots, including Jack from Texas Terra Factory, the one who suspended flights the first. And a lot of people who weren't announced showed up without telling any of their fans to come out. So they just grabbed onto ours and didn't even say hello. But that was great. It was still great. We had a lot of. We were expecting around 300 people, and I think we got
We had
closer.
more.
I think we got closer to 7.
Yeah.
It was
The,
bonkers.
it was packed.
It was
packed.
bonkers.
There was people coming in and going out the entire time.
Yeah. And at the peak, we probably had 400 or 500 people there, and it was pretty wild to feel famous for a day. And people would come up and be like, "Oh, Brian, I love your channel," and Bear's standing there, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Bear!" And I thought that was pretty cool because
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know what the overlap is between the audiences.
Yeah, I'm glad we got those big chairs that we could stand up taller than everyone else so we could look down on people. 'Cause
Oh.
that was very fitting.
We should have done that. That would have been
Yeah.
more complicated. Yeah, and it
Lifeguard
was,
chairs.
and
Next time we'll bring lifeguard chairs and we'll sit at the top. Hello down there.
and the meet and
Yawn.
greet was great. It was just great, and thanks to all the sponsors who chipped in to help it. Thanks to all the people who bought a ticket or two. Thanks to Wendelin who made the graphics for the swag that we gave away. Yeah, it was great. It was just great. It was really fun, and I'm glad we did that because otherwise I would have felt like the trip was. If it wasn't for that part of the trip, the whole thing would have been not in the win column, I would say.
Well, yeah. There was other good moments
For sure.
outside of the meet and greet. I think I scared David Lee when I met him because he looked at me like, "Who the hell are you?" And I was just, "Hey, how you doing?" But he smiled, and I got a picture of him actually smiling.
I
went
got a
back and
hug
looked at
from
it.
Jordan Giesecke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to go back and look at the picture of David Lee, and his face was going to be like, but instead he had a nice big smile on his
Yeah,
face.
it was
So,
really interesting to meet, Dave Lee and Jordan, and I'd met Sandy before. James Dalma was there. So many interesting people.
yeah, there definitely were. Just a very pro Tesla environment. Warren was there. I spoke to Warren for about 2 minutes.
Yeah. I spoke to
And
Warren for probably less than that because he showed up kind of late and we were all pretty busy at that point. So that was a lot of fun. What else went on that weekend? Do you remember anything?
Well, I think one of the coolest things that was out there was I'm going to run this video on
Yep.
YouTube. This was the drone show, which I thought was incredible
Yep.
because that takes hundreds of drones all coordinated together to do this flight over the factory, and it was actually on the other side of the field. But to have all that set up and the amount of coordination on that, it just blows my mind. Flying one drone is something you got to be very cautious about. Flying, I don't know how many there were, maybe 200.
Well, I'm looking
And
at it. It's definitely in the hundreds, but how high in the hundreds is the question. I don't know.
I,
We did get a comment on your channel. We don't like Warren.
that would definitely be a Lucid fan.
Oh, that's why. Warren is not for everyone. He is an acquired taste that it seems is easy to unacquire.
I would still like to have more conversations with him. He is a Tesla hyperbole, and in his mind, that means he has to be a hyper bear on everyone else.
Yeah.
There can only be one. is kind of his motto. Not that he's ever said that, but it just seems to be the way he thinks.
I would agree. Paul wanted to know, did Elon drop by? So to the meet and greet, no. To TeslaCon, no. And TeslaCon really wanted him to call in on Zoom. That was also a no. So as exclusive and hoity-toity as they are, they also, and they've got some huge names at TeslaCon, and they still can't get Elon even via Zoom. So, yeah. And the drone show, by the way, when I was doing my live stream for us runners up outside the factory on the big night, people in the chat were saying, look up, the drones are there. And I'm like, my friend, that is a mile away from where I am. We cannot see it from where we are.
Okay, so it's funny. I missed the drone show.
Oh, I did too.
Now I know why. Because I think when you were live streaming, that was when I was looking for that Porta-John, and I had to walk like a half a mile crooked.
You still would have missed it because you can see it was on the other side of the highway. Olivia Murphy said he's looking for a wife. LOL. Yeah, Warren is going pretty aggressive with the dating talk in ways that
Yes.
I do not find helpful to the investment conversation. To put it.
He did mention something about that in my 2-minute conversation, because he was talking to another person and said something about finding a girlfriend or something. I thought, I don't know.
Now, so you might hurt Warren's feelings, says Lily May. That's not my objective. But like you were saying about the drone show, my gosh, they've gotten so crisp with those. It is stunning. I would love to see the computers in that truck, in that trailer.
Yeah, I just wonder how much prep time, or do they really just have an awesome computer or a program? You go, yeah, I want a Model Y. Click. Okay, you got it. You want those tires to be spinning? You got it.
Wow, just crazy. Any other videos from the event that are worth mentioning?
I think if you want a good recap of the event, probably go to Monroe Live and do Sandy at Cyber Rodeo. He's probably the person with the most intelligence that has put out a video that will explain things in layman's terms, but still have a very good understanding of what he's looking at.
Yeah, he's the gold standard when it comes to engineering videos. And the fact that he didn't just go in as a fan, but while still doing work, as it were, is wonderful. I told Bear this before the stream started, I haven't watched any of the interior videos yet. I haven't done it.
He's got a little anger issue going on.
No, I wouldn't say little. No, it's... when you get eliminated from the playoffs, do you watch the rest of the World Series?
Yeah, actually, most people do.
Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't a good example.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean the team. If the Yankees are cut in the first round of the American League Championship, they don't go home and watch the World Series. They lick their wounds.
Yeah.
And take steroids. I think that's what they do.
Are you just saying the Yankees or all of them?
Any team, I think. You got that close and you didn't make it.
Yeah. JJ giving us a bit of sarcasm when he says Sandy is a genius, except when he went to Nikola, in which case he is a paid shill. LOL.
Yeah, and that's that's an accusation that every channel gets at points. When Sandy says he wasn't paid, I believe him. I believe his reputation, his integrity is worth far too much to lie about something that even if they gave him $100,000, that's not significant in the scale of his business operations. And how do you know he was paid? No, Olivia, JJ was joking.
Yes.
And for that matter,
but I think what JJ's point was that he's a genius when he says anything about anything else, but when he says something about Nikola, Now he's been paid.
He's a genius when I agree with him, is what a lot of people think. And for that matter, I've been accused of being a paid shill, and if I am, time to review my contract because I didn't get in.
Yeah, and I would like to be a paid shill.
Yeah, I'd love it.
So, yeah, if somebody would like to pay me to pass on their BS, I'll be willing to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boy, I'm just so jelly. I'm so jelly. What are you going to do? Yeah. So, incidentally, my objective is to continue improving the quality of my channel, the outreach of my channel, the growth of my channel, so that next event that comes, I can be a VIP. Because I have to earn it. And I get that. Nobody owes me anything. Except you. You owe me bus fare. No, I'm just kidding.
Bus fare?
I couldn't think fast enough. Come on, man. What do you want me to say? Beer money? We didn't go drinking.
Yeah, we didn't take a bus either.
What was that car we were in? Seriously, my brain's still a little fried from the travel. You got to cut me some slack. And the interesting thing in Sandy's videos, you can see just how much open space there remains for increased production. And it cracks me up because they say, oh, this factory can produce 500,000 cars. Yeah, in its sleep, probably. This is easily a 1 million car facility. Easily. When it's outfitted. Yeah, it's going to be neat. It's going to be neat. Where are we at? 4:30. We're doing all right.
Yeah, we're doing all right. But let's still move on to the next thing, which is we finally have some sort of official word on the new Model Y.
Yeah,
that's
very
being
exciting.
made in Gigafactory, Texas Gigafactory, and I'm a little shocked.
Yeah, me too. People, people were ready for this. It's going to be 39,000. That's what it came in at, right? For the short range.
Yeah, $38,000 plus 70%.
Yeah. 60 grand for a short range. That's an interesting value proposition.
Yeah, it's just $3,000 less than a long range, which the long range cost this maybe about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, the original. What did you pay for your long range? 49.9.
It might have been like 52. I think total I was at like probably 55. That's with the white interior, the upgraded seats, the tow hitch. I think that's all like the only options I had. Oh, the blue color. The blue was
an extra 1,000.
Yeah, something like that. So I was sitting about 55 with options.
Yeah.
And now I'd be sitting more like I think 67,000 with options. Almost a $70,000 car. That is getting expensive, boys and girls. That is getting to the point where they are going to decrease their orders, which kind of is the goal to catch up. But these prices are getting way out of control.
So I was expecting it to be obviously much lower. A lot of people thought it would. The margins are going to remain fat a little bit longer. Real quick, I wanted to say thanks to Mark for the super chat. And Mark, I do not have the dollar button. This is on my main channel because there's a global outage right now on YouTube that doesn't allow you to switch between accounts. The account switcher feature is on the fritz. So I had to put this on the main channel, which is monetized. The second channel, still not monetized. Nowhere close. So, hey, man.
Yeah, and I've got a couple people here in the comments. Ben said he subscribed to your channel, Brian. And Ben and Saul also mentioned the name. What's the name of Brian's channel? Brian's channel is My Tesla Weekend, but he does his live broadcasts from his other channel, which is My Tesla Live. So if you guys could subscribe to My Tesla Live, Brian will stop begging for subscribers so that he can get monetized.
That's true. And I believe Bear has a link to it in the description for his video.
That is 100% true.
Yeah. So on your channel, so the floor is 60 grand for a Tesla. That's for the Model Y. You can get Model 3s a bit cheaper. But for the Model Y, the floor is 60 grand. Yeah, a little, like 5 grand cheaper. The margins are insane. It's going to be, yeah.
And, Intimidator then also commented Kia will have a lot of demand this year. Kia's EV6 is a real good competitor to the Model Y. For 60 grand, you're going to get the top end EV6. That's going to be the GT Plus. It's going to be dual motor. It's going to have around 300 miles of range, I think, on the all-wheel drive, or it might be 275 with the all-wheel drive. I know you take a little bit of a hit when you go all-wheel drive. But it was a decent little car. I drove that one, and we almost did an article today on the EV6. Brian, you didn't know that. There's an article comparing the EV6 to the Kia Niro and which one was better, even though one was cost much less, but they're both made by Kia. But the EV6 was better than the Niro, in case anybody's wondering. In this article, I haven't driven a Niro. I drove the EV6. I was going to buy it, but the dealership gods were against me on that day.
So on your channel, JJ said, 60 grand for a Tesla is why Americans won't transition to EVs. No, it isn't. Their supply constraint, not demand. The price is not the issue. If they cut the price in half, they wouldn't sell any additional units. They're already selling as many as they can build. Ben said so much for the $35,000 Tesla. For now, yes, that may come back. Maybe just adjusted for inflation. And by the way, I did have a comment on my channel. Is there a replay for the TeslaCon without the audio issues? And not yet, but it is coming. I've been told there will be a copy coming out anytime now. But they really were not prepared for that.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
I was back there with Brian, and I know you guys just think he's whining and complaining about something that didn't happen, but no, they were ill prepared, and it all came down to not having enough bandwidth up for him to broadcast.
It was one of the problems, but it wasn't the only one. It was they didn't start planning on having a live stream until quite literally 2.5, 3 days before, and I offered them all kinds of advice and pointers, and they didn't take them. So they were not able to stream onto their own channel. They had to stream onto a cloud account. And then even though we had a sit-down meeting where we said, don't use copyright music, use royalty free, they still use copyright music. And then even the president of the Owners Club said, well, I know I shouldn't because we're live streaming on the internet, but, and then he drops an F-bomb. And their stream wasn't affected because it was on a cloud account. I was the only one live streaming, so it only boned me. But really it was the 5 copyright strikes that did me in. And it took 3 days to get that resolved. And what I had to do was mute the parts where I'm actually adding commentary, making my video kind of useless. So yeah, I got a little bit boned on that, a little bit, but hey man, it happens. And in person, the event was fantastic. It was absolutely wonderful. And it's just the live streaming was an afterthought, and it showed.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Bear had stronger feelings than I did.
Oh, that's not true. I was just bored.
Yeah. Bear may or may not have left for a time.
I went out and looked for another car to
Todd
buy.
Morgan said, you are a VIP as far as I'm concerned. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. Yeah. And Todd, you've been so active lately. I really appreciate that too. I appreciate having you around, giving feedback, all that good stuff. So that's all we had to talk about, right?
No, we're going to talk about, we're still on Tesla. We got one more, maybe another one. Elon Musk, Tesla may actually have to go into mining. He had mentioned this a couple years ago that maybe that they were going to start doing that, but now he might actually be serious about it. And because of the price of lithium has gone up in the last year, it's gone up about 6 times, or 500 to 600%.
Yeah.
Which is getting ridiculous because we have lithium, we just don't have anyone mining it or enough to be mined.
Yeah.
So if I was mining stuff, I would be like, okay, you know what, this might be a good idea. I'm going to start going for some lithium.
Yeah.
I think I have a buyer.
And I'm looking at this here. Lithium carbonate is still trading near its all-time highs, at least on the Chinese market, which is where, you're frankly going to see most of the consumption, because they're the ones making so many of the batteries, trading near the all-time high. And the only reason for it is a lack of supply. It's not hard to get. It's just that mining takes a while to get online.
Not on that gold mining show.
John said, if you know what you said, you can just dub yourself over saying the same thing over the music. When they release the full thing, I'm going to do the whole thing exactly as I would have done it when it was live, where I will play the clips, and then in between, during the downtime, I will add my commentary and my thoughts, and we will get back to the show when it resumes. Because, that's a. Of course, by then everyone will be doing the same thing, even though they didn't go to the event. So it's all right. I picked up a handful of new subscribers, and I'm very happy about it. I don't know. You just do what you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that was it, right?
No, that wasn't it. No, why do you keep saying that?
GM announces new partnership for EV battery supply. A multi-year sourcing agreement with Glencore to get cobalt.
Same issue, different company, just
Yeah.
making sure that they're going to get their raw materials that they need. And this is what every company really needs to be doing, instead of thinking that they're going to go down to Home Depot and order a large bag of lithium or cobalt, because it's not going to happen.
A lot of consumers who don't really follow this think, well, if I'm a car company and I want to order an extra 10 million tires next year, you can do it. They can make those. That will happen. But lithium, cobalt, nickel, it takes a little longer to get that supply chain in order.
Yeah, and even if somebody said, I need another 10 million tires, that may not be possible. You can go to your supplier and go, I need 10 million more, and they're going to be like, "Wow, that's..."
Well, no, you'd have to go to several different suppliers.
Several, yeah,
but you would get it. Whereas with this, you're going to have trouble.
It's just not like you're ordering online and just selecting your quantity.
Do you know who the largest tire manufacturer in the world is?
This is a trick question, isn't it?
It is. Anybody? Anybody? We'll give it a second. I'm sure somebody will pop in the comments with it. So that's it. All these partnerships, this one seems more serious than a lot of the other stuff they do. Because this is material, and I understand it, and it's quite clear.
This isn't just a false promise of saying,
right. This
isn't
have
saying 500 new models by 2023.
No, if they said 2023, you could hold their feet to the fire. They say 2030. Mary won't be there in 2030.
No,
they never stay that long.
It's just those promises that are made that never come to fruition.
So no one's answered. We've got guesses of Michelin. No, the answer is Lego.
General Dunlop. Who?
Lego. They make tires for their little toy cars.
I knew it was going to be some sort of goofy thing like that.
Yeah, of course. I warned you.
I was thinking about like Hot Wheels or something like that.
Nope, they don't make tires. They make wheels. Tires are what goes on the wheels. That's how Lego wins.
Doesn't count. Are they DOT approved?
For home use, yeah. The agency that rates restaurants. That's Michelin. No, it's Lego. It's Lego. So we're running well. We're doing great on time, by the way. Yeah.
I've always thought it was kind of funny. You mentioned Michelin whenever there was a restaurant. I was like, why are they getting rated by a tire company? Who cares what a tire company thinks about their restaurant?
Do you know why?
Why?
Because Michelin wanted to give early drivers a reason to go wear out their tires. That is for real, the real reason. That's why they're all so far apart, is so that you would want to make the trek go through tires quicker.
Wow, that's really pushing it.
Well, I mean, what kind of marketing do you do for a brand new product in a segment that didn't exist 10 years earlier?
Safer? Last longer?
Yeah, well, everyone says that. Come try
Better
some
ride?
delicious food. And what does it cost them to make something, a magazine, a system like that? Meh, who cares? Who cares? I
Why
feel
don't they
like,
start rating movies so people go to the movies in their cars more often?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Start rating off-road trails so they blow out their sidewall quicker.
There you go. I've seen that happen.
I haven't, luckily. Uh,
Jack Goodman wants to know, will GM make more Chevy Bolts than the Ford Lightning? Lightning will kill it. Tons of fleet buyers too. Oh yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. We're not sure if they're even going to make any more
they keep saying the
bolts.
factory's going to reopen any day, and they keep not doing it. Will Chevy make more bolts than the Ford Lightning? See, I think the real problem comes down to the margin for legacy builders in EVs just isn't there. And it's really hard to cannibalize your own sales with a lower margin product. And I think they're all taking a very cautious approach, which is kind of biting them in the butt. I did see a comment on your channel. Would you read it, please? It's by Jugraj Panag.
Frito Lay seen driving Nikola Tre. Maybe.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't surprise me. These
Absolutely
companies,
not.
these buyers, are not necessarily brand loyal. They just need the product that works.
And they need something that is going to save them money in the long term, and they need to get out there for their PR and say, "We are zero emission now," and that's the goal right now. And eventually, they're not going to be able to buy those big diesel semis anyway, so they've got to get on board.
So I did have a question
And
before the stream began, and I asked them to remind me, and they did. Has the 8,000 ton press been installed at Giga Texas? And the answer is no, it has not. It is still in Italy. It is operational. It is believed to be either all the way dialed in or just about. And that is going to be on display at their open house in August, is it? And I did request tickets to that, and they declined to respond. So I think when they say it's open to the public, they mean professionals in the industry rather than
yeah,
rather
maybe if
than
you were an investor or an analyst.
well, that's the thing is I have gone. I just yesterday went on Twitter and changed my description. I'm no longer a YouTuber. I'm a
Are
tech.
you an analyst?
I'm a tech analyst.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
Congra-
quite the
Congratulations.
quite the promotion. My boss is kind of a
Yeah.
jerk, but you know,
Why don't you tomorrow? You could be like the CEO of some sort of investment firm,
with my own
like
initials, like Gordon Johnson does.
Gordon Johnson. Yeah, it's exactly where I was going with that.
GLJ, and they still take him seriously. Who's paying that guy? Paying that guy? Mr. Bogue says Frito Lay has been running compressed natural gas.
Yeah, I suppose I actually don't know what Frito Lay is running, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. But that is still not zero emission. It better, but it's still not better. There's a little conversation going back and forth about who's going to be number two behind Tesla. Who do you think is going to be number two behind Tesla?
Globally, I think it's going to be Volkswagen because they've got a fantastic lineup and commitment, and they're growing quickly. But they're just not bringing enough models to the U.S. In the U.S., boy, it's tough. It's tough. If Hyundai or Kia chose to be, they could be. If Volkswagen chose to be, they could be. But I just don't think the margin is there. And we know for Hyundai, their profit per car last year was $653, which is insane. You make $600 for every car you sell. Meanwhile, Mercedes and Tesla are closer to $6,000 per car. So I don't know if they've got a lot of room to give cars away, and EVs may be below water. Well, who do you think?
I would probably lean towards the top. My top three would be the Honda Kia collaboration because they are one and the same. Ford or Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Ford just has a production issue as far as batteries go. They're trying to build out as fast as they can. They've got plants going up everywhere. Volkswagen seems to be more focused on the other side of the world, which is understandable. That's where their their base is. Hyundai and Kia, that if they were building these cars faster or whatever's slowing them down, they would be selling them all because they're
Yeah.
getting $10,000 markups on their electric cars from the dealer, and people are paying it.
So on my channel, MC suggested the ones we forget about, BYD and XPeng, or as they call it, Xiaopeng. Those are coming online. Those are going to be very serious competitors. I don't know how soon they will make serious inroads in the U.S. markets, but globally, those are going to be showing some big numbers. But I don't think they'll catch up to VW next year.
Oh, and Octavio asked me, "Come on, Bear, no Lucid." Lucid, besides having the production issues that they're having and delivery issues, they only have one model car, and it's closer now to $200,000. So I don't think that they could be number two at that price point. They're going to need to get the Gravity online, which is still going to be a very expensive vehicle, and then they need to get their $25,000 car that they said that they're going to be shooting for online, and we're still years out before that is going to happen. So that's why I can't include Lucid in the list.
And one thing Bear and I have talked about in a number of times is, I don't care who the company is, a product isn't real until it's for sale. I believe, the Ford Lightning, I will count that as real because we've seen enough of them and we know it's coming imminently.
Yes.
But when it comes to a new this new battery breakthrough, or Honda's going to have 30 EVs by 2030. Guys, we've been hearing that since 2012. I'll believe it when it's real, and that goes for every company, Tesla included, obviously, because they have a habit of hitting on specs, over delivering on specs, missing on price.
That is definitely a good conversation.
So, do you know who the undisputed leader is in EVs?
Mary Barra.
That's correct. Do you know that
Right.
Biden met with Musk, Barra, Farley, and others about EVs?
Yes, he did. And these were Biden officials.
Right. It
this
wasn't the
was-
White House. It wasn't Biden himself, right? At any rate, it was
says-
White House
Yeah.
administration officials.
Yeah, I think the people who are more in line with what they're actually doing is people who are going to host that kind of conversation as opposed to President Biden, which, he may not quite grasp everything that they're talking about. They need to have someone who's knowledgeable. And I still don't know that they did. This article mentions that they were talking about maybe the best way one of the things that they need to talk about is the EV infrastructure for charging and not going with level 2 chargers, which are woefully inadequate, and that they should be DC fast charging. So
Right.
whether or not that was mentioned in this meeting, we don't know. But that is something that's pretty important, you have to find something that's on par with filling up your gas tank. And
Yes.
a level 2 charger is not that.
Right.
And people are not going to get excited, and it will be an enormous waste of money if they start putting level 2 chargers everywhere.
Yeah. Kind of fun to look at the list of who's there. So Jim Farley from Ford, the Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares, Peter Rawlinson was there, Nissan, and executives from Kia, Hyundai, Mazda, Subaru, and Toyota. That's great. Peter Rawlinson got to be in the same room as real car makers.
It was Zoom. It was a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I like about Peter Rawlinson's accent is I'm convinced it's load bearing. Without it, I don't know.
What is that?
That means
does
it's
that
what's
even
holding
mean?
up the company is the sophistication that comes, the trust you get with someone who sounds like a children's documentary narrator. That's what I think.
Maybe he'll be talking to us about giraffes and things like that. That would.
John said it takes years to spool up a new battery for production of millions. It really does. And Tim is saying there's going to be a lot of auto layoffs in a few years, including the maintenance shop. Yeah. And here's a question for you, Bear. This is a question for both of us. Do you think Mercedes and BMW will be successful in making their transition to electric vehicles?
Mercedes, yes. BMW, no. Because I think that they only like to make things that break real easy. And you can't make an EV break real easy.
There was another one I saw.
And
I got distracted because you froze on my end, making a very funny face, and it was wonderful. Oh, Jack Goodman asked on your channel, any word on the design and specs of the Tesla taxi? And and the answer is no, there's no word on that. But I'll tell you, I think it's going to share a platform with the boring tunnel people movers.
that would make sense.
We're doing good on time, but we do have a couple more things to discuss.
Oh, I'm going to go on to my favorite topic.
Sure. I would
Direct to
absolutely enjoy
consumer
that.
issues.
Yeah.
Tesla is facing a second assault on its right to sell and service its cars in Oklahoma.
So
What
stupid.
the hell?
The dealer network, the franchise owners, the franchise association has their claws in the hooks. Their hooks in the meat of the legislature there, and guys, Oklahoma is like 40% First Nation lands. It's tribal reservations all over. Ban it if you want. You're going to enrich the tribal communities who will open service centers instead. And that's not just for Tesla, but that's for Rivian and Lucid and all the others who don't have a traditional dealer network.
Yeah, this is actually very important no matter who you hate and who you support, because direct-to-consumer model is going to be, all these new companies are going to be using it, and Ford is going to be going to it soon enough. And I think once Ford gets on it and once some of these other companies realize how much money they're losing by having dealerships, because they're losing thousands of dollars on every car by having a middleman when they don't need one.
Yeah.
Once they realize what happens if they get rid of them, buy these dealerships out, destroy the National Association dealers of I won't say that. Once they get rid of NADA, basically, it puts them in a position to have higher margins, make more money because they have higher margins, better reputation because it's based on them and not some kid who was hired a week ago to sell cars and is going to be told how to trick you into buying glass protection on your car for another $700.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so this is just horrible. When I see things like this, I'm like, you're literally, as a politician, putting up a sign that says, I am corrupt. I am low-life scum. I'm interested in the people who are going to line my pockets with money, and there's no hiding it. I have no shame. I'm saying I am a corrupt individual.
Well, they just need to wear sponsor badges like the NASCAR drivers do. You remember...
That's a great idea.
So you remember Steve Rosen in the comments. Steve was at the meet and greet. He was also one of the planning committee members, and he was critical in getting our permit at the last minute when I goofed up and did not mail the check. Steve says, Steve met I don't know how much I should say because it's kind of under the. Anyway, he's got an inside source who has it on absolute authority that there will be factory tours at Giga Texas at some point, similar to the factory tours that were offered at Fremont prior, in the before times. And by the way, Steve, thank you so much for your help with everything, with the planning, with all of it, but especially the permit at the last minute. That was, whew.
Yeah. JJ, to answer your question, dealership second video when, I'm working on it. I'm kind of torn between, I've got like 3 different dealership videos and I'm like putting in notes for each one. Not sure which one I should go with next, but I'm currently working on which hate video I'm going to make. It's going to be tons of hate speech. Just a heads up.
So we got one more to cover before we run out of time. Watch Rivian R1T and Porsche Taycan hit top speed in the desert. Yeah. So, because I just got in at the last second, why don't you tell me what we're looking at?
We're looking at an RV1T. I believe it was their, might have been their top of the line with the 21-inch wheels and whatever it comes with against a Porsche Taycan to see who can go faster. And you can see from the initial picture, they got really dirty.
They got
So,
real dirty.
real dirty. And as they are driving through this, there's dirt everywhere. You're clicking up some serious clouds of dust.
So without
But they
watching
were
it,
racing.
I'm going to say the Rivian won by a lot. Did you watch it?
Well, it was a top speed test.
Oh, I see. So who won?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe the port.
The Taycan one, it gets up to 150. The R1T only tops out at 115, which I actually found a little surprising.
I'm not to me. It's for safety reasons, I think, because of the weight and the form factor. But I don't know. I think anything over those kind of speeds is flirting with death in either case. But I think if you had a Porsche that topped out at 115, you would not have any happy customers.
You wouldn't have a need to buy a Porsche. I'm
Right.
sorry, Porsche. Porsche.
Nicholas wants to know where's a good place to find the TeslaCon videos. Those will be coming. They have said that they will release them to people. One out just yet, and they're they're not full-time event coordinators, so they're not very responsive when it comes to requests like that, unfortunately. Because we are real close to out of time, we're going to thank our Patreons real quick and then talk about what we got coming up. So yeah, our Patreons get early access, bonus content, and ad-free experience, and there's more coming too. More bonus stuff, more good stuff, all that good stuff. Bear?
Yeah, it's the same thing here. I want to say thanks to all of my Patreons, and I want to thank Brian. I want to thank your Patreons also for helping support, because they were very supportive through the meet and greet last week,
Yeah.
and I really did appreciate everything that some anonymous people did, and they
Yeah.
want to remain anonymous. But I appreciate their efforts, contributions to our couple of days in Austin.
Yeah.
I will be live streaming tomorrow for the Lucid over. Mr. Bogues had a question about the Badger that I mentioned previously. This was yesterday, that I don't think that the Badger runs. Because that the technology Nikola uses for the NZT is the same or similar. Just asking. I just don't think that. I think it was a prototype that they never got all the way done.
I don't think I ever saw a prototype. I saw renders.
Yeah, there supposedly is a prototype in the Nikola headquarters. That's what I've been told numerous times.
They would have shown it.
So,
They would have shown it. And I wanted to also thank everybody who showed up. There were a lot of people who bought the paid tickets who sent me messages saying, we're not even going. I just wanted to make sure you got a couple bucks to help out with the costs. And for the curious, we did not lose our butts on the event. And in the future, we will absolutely be having these again, because it was the most fun I've had in, I'm trying to think, a very long time. And you guys are just awesome with all these. And I've got a live stream coming up Friday where I will be recapping at least TeslaCon, or maybe the meet and greet, or maybe all three events. I just got to see how long they really go. And it'll be, I've got some of my own footage that you'll get to see that's never been seen before, but it's of the meet and greet and not the juicy stuff.
Not the juicy stuff.
Yeah. So thanks to all of you guys, all of you wonderful fans. Digital Blade Canada, I thank you so much for being here. And all the regulars and all the new faces I don't know. So, and next week, this stream will be back on My Tesla Live, the second channel. I just was unable to get it there because of a global problem, an outage with the YouTube account switching feature. Wow.
And I also want to thank all the new people that I've seen in my chat today. There's a couple of new names that haven't seen in a while. Billzar Electric, Jack Goodman. There was a couple other ones that were
John
there somewhere.
Yent? Oh, that's on mine. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
but Ben I don't recall seeing a Ben before, but hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed this. We do this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. So come back again.
Yeah. Well, Bear, thanks for hanging out with me.
Oh, and ditto. Ditto to you too. Thank you
Yeah.
for spending the time with me.
Yeah. And I think I had one last one. Matt Hofsey saying I should stream on Wednesday night next week. Why is that? Oh, after the Q1 earnings call. Oh yeah, I will definitely be streaming for the earnings call. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks guys, and we'll see you next